Hello and welcome to this Free Falcon 5 video tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to demonstrate how to use the TE mission builder and editor in Free Falcon 5. The version of Free Falcon 5 I'm using is 5.51 and it's installed with the default theaters and cockpit add-ons. Very quickly we're going to go to the main screen. From the main screen we're going to choose technical engagement. Choose the saved option at the top and select new to create a new mission. The new mission window opens with two parts, the map on the right hand side and the forces on the left hand side. I'm going to make some small adjustments to the forces on the left hand side. I'm going to choose America as being the blue 4, and I'm going to change the pilot skills and AI skills both to veteran. I'm going to change the color to green. You'll see we've got nice green icons at the bottom there. I'm going to change the up 4. I'll leave the color the same, and I'm going to change the skills. Color we'll leave red. So you can see the map is divided between the northern forces and the southern forces. To zoom into the map, we use the click on the map and use the mouse wheel, and to pan around the map we hold the left mouse button down and simply drag. Before we go any further, I'm going to display some additional information on the map, and we display additional information by right clicking anywhere on the map, and you can see there's a variety of different options. The one we're interested in at the moment is the installations. Airfields are shown by default, and you can see there that's all those icons on the map. We're going to now include air defences with those. There's a whole lot of other items that can be put in here, and you can look at those at your leisure. They tend to make the map quite cluttered if they're all on together. So air defences are switched on. So for this demonstration I'm going to focus in on a single base here. It's called Wundermat Radar Station, and we can see the name of it by clicking on the item. And we're going to set up a package from the south, strike package from the south, to attack that radar station. So the first thing to do is, if we're using the southern forces, we need to make sure the southern forces are selected on the close to the territory map there. We need to make sure that and you can see the icon at the top reflects the forces that we're currently adjusting. So the first thing we're going to do is, now that we've selected our forces, we're going to add in some squadrons. I'll add in some squadrons to an airbase by right clicking on the airbase. The airbase I'm going to use here is Kingpo, which is to the southwest. It's on the close to the western coast, and it's a reasonable distance from the target that we're going to attack. So I'm going to right click on the airbase, add a squadron, and the default CJs come up as the option, and we're going to choose those. So we're going to add a flight of F-16s to that. You'll see the icon will come up, and there it is, the icon for the squadron, and I'm going to select it again. It's a little bit tricky to select the airbase again rather than selecting the squadron, but you'll do it if you move the mouse around. I'm going to right click on that, add squadron again, and this time I'm going to select some Tornado GR4s, and finally I'll add a third squadron in, and it's going to be some Eurofighters from the Luftwaffe. So now that we've got our 3 squadrons done, set up from that airbase, we're now going to look at creating a package which is going to strike that target, our Wundermat radar station. So you look at the top, we've got a time that we can start at, and I'm going to change that default from 9 to earlier in the morning. So I'm going to change it to 8. You can see we can select it by moving the mouse onto either the minutes, seconds or hours. I'm going to select it to 6 o'clock. So we want our strike time to be at 6 o'clock on that target. Okay, we're now going to add a package which is going to attack our target, and to do that what we do is we right click on the target and we choose add package. Now the package window opens, and we're going to slide that across to the left. Notice there's 4 menu options at the bottom of the package window, not to be confused with the menu bar on the bottom of the main screen. So you can see we have an option to kick off at 6:02 and arrive on target. Time on target is 6:30, and we want to change that. We actually want to be on target at 6 o'clock. So we're going to select the minutes option there, and we're going to reduce that back down to 6 o'clock. So we're happy that that's the time that we'll be on target at, and we're going to now start adding the flights one by one. We leave the package priority the same. That can be adjusted if you have a large tactical engagement. So to add a new flight, we click on the new button down here, and by default the last squadron which we've just added is added as the aircraft type, and we can see it's a strike. So I'm going to change it from its default to being a strike package. It's coming out of Kimpo, and it's got size of 2, attacking the correct radar station. I'm going to change the skill level up to veteran. Okay, we've got one in. You can see it comes up on the map. We're not going to adjust anything at the moment. We're just going to drop in the packages that we want. So we're going to put in the next one by clicking on new. This time we're going to find our Tornado GO4. Once again, we're going to change the job it's going to do. We're going to change it to being a SEAD escort. We're going to escort our Eurofighters with these, and Blackjack 1 is our Eurofighters, so that's all okay. Going to leave the size as 2, and skill level is now set to veteran by default. Press OK to that, and we're going to do it a third time to take in our third flight. We're going to find this, and there we go. It's actually block 52s we're looking for. That's the one. Okay, so we're going to change the action that this is going to take, and we're going to make this escort, but it's not going to escort our Sting flight. It's going to escort our primary strike flight, which is Blackjack 1. So everything looks good there. I'm going to change that to 3 units, and we're okay. So those 3 flights are done. Once we're happy with those, we want to add them. What we do is we click on the OK button at the bottom of the screen. Once they're added, now we can look at them in the air tasking order by clicking on the ATO button at the bottom. We click on that. We've got to click on the button on the option at the top called Show All Packages, and now we see the USA packages. We just expand these fully, and we can see our 3 strike packages. If we click on the button on the side there, we can now display them, although only the flight which has been selected is shown up in white. The other ones will show in black. We can't see them on the map at the moment because they're all actually taking the same flight path. There's just one adjustment now. I'm going to make an adjustment to each of the 3 flights just to show how the waypoints can be adjusted. We've got some SAM threats to the west here of the flight, and they're uncomfortably close. We shouldn't actually need to engage them, so I'm going to make a bit of distance between us and them. So I'm going to select a flight, and we can see this, the Eurofighter flight is selected first, and I'm going to just drag the icons away from that location, and I'm going to do that to all the flights in sequence. Okay, when that's done, okay, all our flights are, I can close out of that, and I can call it up again, and we can see the individual flights. The last thing I'm going to do with these flights is to look at the munitions, and I'm going to go down by selecting the flight. First of all, I'm going to go down and click on munitions, and we can see we're in Blackjack 1, and it's got some GBU 38 JDAMs on board, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 by 2 elements should be good enough to do what we need to do with our target. So we're going to leave it as it is. Cancel from that. Let's have a look at the escort. The SEAD escort should be carrying some anti-radiation stuff, so let's look at the munitions here, and we can see, yes, it's carrying 6 alarms, and it's also got some BL cluster bombs, BL 755s. We don't need any change to that. And then finally our air-to-air escort, which is our CJs. Let's look at the munitions here. Let's see what we've got. We've got 4 AM9s and 2 AM120s. So I'm going to change those over. So that should be good. I'm going to commit myself to that, and that's done. The last item on the flight that I want to make an adjustment to or look at is the flight plan. If we click on the flight plan button at the bottom of the screen, having selected a flight in the packages window, we can see the details of the flight plan come up here. You can see we can select any of the flights if we want to look at them, but at the moment we're looking at Stingray 1, and you can see the set points in there. If we select a set point on the map, the set point on the flight planner changes, or conversely we can change the set point by tabbing through using the left and right arrow keys. I'm going to pick the strike package flight and look at the flight plan for that. We're going to have to click on blackjack, yeah, that's it, and we're going to go to steer point 2. The altitude is 3,700. I'm going to take that down a little bit, and we're going to, yeah, that's fine, it's down to 3,000 and then 2,500. Going to take it down a little bit more. You just have to be careful too of the terrain that you're traveling over, so you don't want to be trying to fly into a mountain. You also need to be careful when you're making adjustment to the speed. If you put a speed too low, it may not be possible to reach the required target at the time on target set point. So it's important to just make adjustments to things like the speed and the location of the steer points with caution. We've pretty much now set out the flights for the OPFOR. And if we want to go back and look at these and adjust these again, say we want to add a strike, we want to add a flight or remove a flight from the package that we've already got, it's quite easy to do that. We just go back into the air tasking order, we select the package name and right click on that and ask to show flights. We can then just move that over to the side and we can close down the original window, and now we're back to the window which is pretty much like the window that we've just been adding the flights to. So we can make changes in the same way we can add new flights or we can remove a flight. So that's pretty much it. Okay, finally we're going to now add in some forces, some enemy forces, to give us some balance to this situation. First of all, you can see the flight time is 6 o'clock and our time on target is 6 o'clock for those. But we obviously want to be setting off earlier, so well, we leave it like that for the moment, but we're going to have to change it back in order to be able to fly the mission, because at the moment the units have reached their targets and they're on their way back almost. So we're going to take 2 air bases here. We're going to take let me see what air bases. Yeah, we're going to take Honyi and Kumni as the air base. We're going to add in to Kumni. We're going to add in a squadron, same way as we did before. Before we do that, almost forgotten. Before we do that, we have to change the side. So we're going to change the side to DPRK, and you can see the symbol on the top indicates that that's what we've done. So we're going to right click on this and add a squadron, and now we're going to find a squadron which is suitable for that. We're going to find a MiG 29 DPRK, and we're going to go down to Honni, I think that's the way it's pronounced, airbase, and we're going to add a squadron of Su-27s, Blanker Bees. Okay, so once they're done, you can see the squadron symbol should show up at both of those. There they go. Now we're going to add the flights. So we're going to add a flight by clicking on the destination. We're going to add a flight to be on target at around the same time that these guys are there, so there'll be some a good probability of action during the mission. So I'm going to right click on there and I'm going to say add a flight. I'm not going to do these as packages because they're 2 separate air bases. So for the flankers, the flanker comes up as standard. Remember, the flankers are coming out of Honni. So we have 3 units as the default size, and we're going to give it a bar cap roll in that location, and we're going to change the size down to 2. We're veteran, so that's all okay. So we're going to click on that, and that flight looks okay. So that flight looks like it's going to be there around 6 o'clock. So we're going to do a similar job with the MiGs. Going to right click, except we're going to give it a slightly different job. I'm going to move the location. Going to add a flight by clicking on the MiG. There we go, MiG 29As, DPRKs, and we're going to leave those 2, and we're going to change this as an intercept. So we're going to let this intercept, and we're going to choose intercept, not Stingray 1 but Blackjack 1, okay, which is our strike aircraft. I'm going to press OK to that, and that looks like it puts that flight in roughly a similar situation, probably a little bit earlier, because that will intercept it on the way back. Now that we've done that, everything is in place, and all we've got to do is we've got to roll back the timer. So if I click on the timer here, clicking on the minutes, and roll back the timer to give us a starting time. So we know that the starting time is roughly 5:30, so I'm going to go back 15 minutes, so I'm going to take it to 5:15. This will give us a chance to ramp start should we want to, or to jump in the pit, or to select the flights in advance that I'm taking off. So once that's done, that's pretty much it. We can just look at the air tasking orders again, and we can show all packages, and we can see our strike packages there. To add ground units to the map, the first thing we've got to do is we've got to change the side we want to have the units on. We then simply right click on the map and click on add a battalion. You can see there's a number of equipment type options, and once we've chosen the equipment type option, we can select the unit type from the drop down list. In this case I'm going to take some T-80s, and I'm going to press OK to that. Once the icon appears on the map, we can now give it some orders to move. Don't forget that the orders to move will start at the time that we've set when we put the unit on the map. So in order to get the units to move, we simply click on the unit and the circle appears, and we can drag that circle to where we want it to move to. It will create its own route as necessary. Okay, for ship units or naval units, we've got to, first of all, we've got to display them, and we do that by going to naval units and clicking on the display the type. So you can see once we've chosen to display them, there's several units available for both Blue 4 and Op 4. We now simply deploy the ones we wish into the locations we want, and we can delete the rest by right clicking and selecting delete. So once we've done that, I'm just going to go back to the air tasking order, and I'm going to delete this ground unit. So the last thing we've got to do is to save this, and we're going to save it by clicking on a save mission. I'm going to save it as a new mission, mission 7, and press the save button, and we're going to just check out and see how it works for timing by leaving that whole menu and going back to the saved missions, select the one we've just saved, and then commit, which is the run button for it. So there we go, we can see 5:15 and the clock is ticking, and we've got our 3 flights in place, the escort, the seed escort, and the strike packages, and they're both leaving within a short space of time of one another. We can select any of those flights, as you probably know, by just clicking on the appropriate flight and clicking on the slot you want to use. Once that's done, you simply choose takeoff. Thank you very much. There might be some items in here that I haven't covered that are functions within the tactical engagement mission planner, but I think this covers most of the basics. Thank you.